Today, on Be Something Wonderful, there are no facts or reality outside of what you assume. It's law. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Good morning. Big video today. I want to talk a little bit about this client that I did a video on the membership channel. We released it last night. It was a huge video on really a masterclass in manifesting anything. I'm going to touch on that. But in the light of what I talked about yesterday, I talked about everyone as you pushed out. I talked about this idea of thought transmission. And I even touched on this idea of Neville and some other spiritual teachers saying that the Bible it's just a great psychological drama taking place in your consciousness. That these stories are parables or allegories, right, of what's going on in your mind. They're states of consciousness. And then versus the others who are saying, well, no, they're real people. They're real stories that took place. I have clients who believe both, who believe this or believe that, and some who believe both of them. So yesterday, I think there was a comment that, Tom, I love your channel, but I don't like that you disagreed with Neville. I wasn't disagreeing with Neville or other teachers. I was presenting both sides, these two different views. And one of them even asked what I believe. And what do I believe? I believe all things are possible. I believe you're absolutely, wholly limitless. That means you can choose to believe that those people are real, that they are historical events and stories. Or you can choose to believe that it's a psychological drama playing out in consciousness, that it's not real. You can choose that it's real or not real. Or you can choose that allow both possibilities to exist, allow all possibilities to exist. Right? There's no judgment on what's right or wrong. I am just simply presenting that these are the views. And Neville and other spiritual teachers believe that. Right? They're saying this is not a possibility, that they're real stories or real historical events. And what I'm saying is that's limiting in some ways, because you're limiting all possibilities. Reality is about all things are possible. That's what God said. Before Abraham, I am. Before all stories, before all possibilities, I am the ultimate reality, where all things are possible. So before any manifestation or view in the 3D world, whether it's a view by a spiritual great like Neville Goddard and other spiritual greats, that it's a psychological drama taking place in consciousness, that it's not real, or whether they're real historical people, it doesn't matter. Because before all of that, there's only the ultimate reality, where neither one of these things exists. There's just I am. There's just awareness of being. Do you see it? So you could have either one. I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I'm saying all things are possible and that you're absolutely limitless awareness. You're all that is. You are that isness of reality, right? All things are possible. You have the free will to choose what to assume and believe. Do you see it? You can believe what Neville believes. If some of you have respect, I get it. Neville's a spiritual great. They're all spiritual greats. I have dozens of videos talking about his teachings and other spiritual greats. And they all are powerful. So I'm not disagreeing or agreeing with any of them. I'm saying all things are possible. Do you see it? I'm saying put your I am on a pedestal. Don't put others on a pedestal and just say that's got to be true because they said it. You get to determine your experience of reality, all of it. What you assume and believe. What your assumptions are. And one of my clients demonstrated that in a huge way that we covered in yesterday's video. She changed her whole life. Since April, we talked in April for the first time. We had 3 other sessions, a total of 4 sessions. And these circumstances that seemed so solid to her changed. And now she's engaged to get married. She's going to start her own thing, her own YouTube channel. All of her dreams are coming true. Why? Because she decided she didn't look out at the conditions, others. people or places or things and say, that must be the truth. She decided what the truth of her reality is. She decided that her assumptions are truth. Not the third parties, not the circumstances that look like she can't get the house she wants or she can't go off and start her own business. None of that got in her way. She decided it all. You have the free will to choose what to assume and believe, to create your experience of ultimate reality, of your infinite experiences of all that is. That limitless, changeless reality, you determine. It's not a question about what's real or unreal. All of them are infinite experiences in that I am awareness. Before Abraham, I am. Before even the question of real or unreal comes up, there's just I am, the ultimate reality. You create your experience of reality, all of it. It's all a real experience, right? So what's real are the spiritual truths. That's what's real. The truth of ultimate reality expressed in the stories, in those stories in the Bible. So it's all true. It's all real depending on how you want to experience it, right? What's real is the spiritual message of the truth behind it, the ultimate reality, God, source, all that is. Whatever you want to name it or label it is the only absolute truth, that one source, that limitless, changeless reality. Within that pure awareness, that unconditioned consciousness, you get to choose what to believe and assume what's real and what's not. Even if that's choosing that awareness is not real. You get to choose it all. You can even say existence. You can even choose to say existence doesn't exist. That's up to you. That becomes your experience. But there's a truth that never changes. And that if you exist, you'll always exist. The only thing that's not possible is non-existence, right? You create your experience of reality, all of it. You are absolutely unlimited as one with that limitless reality. So remember, with the Word of God, that is with God, that word that's with God and is God, I am, you are declaring and announcing that you exist. When you say I am, you're declaring and announcing that you exist and will always exist, right? And if you exist, you must always exist, past, present, and future, in the eternal now, in that as that awareness, as that nowness, as that awareness, because non-existence is impossible, right? And if you exist and always exist, then you must exist in all realities. You must exist in all possibilities. You must be wholly limitless, right? You're omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. You must be all of that now. You are all that. All things are possible because you are all things, all that is. It's within you and you are within all that is. The all is within you and you are within the all. That's what we're talking about here. There is no fiction. Neville Goddard even says it. Right? So even Neville Goddard saying there's no fiction. There's only reality. There's only what you assume. And that includes the people and stories of the Bible if that's what you assume and believe. If you believe they're not fictitious, if you believe they are real, then that's your assumption. You have that free will to choose that or not. Right? It's not a question of what's real or unreal in reality or all that is. There's just reality. There's just awareness. It's a question of what's real or unreal to you, right? Everything is awareness, consciousness, or imagination. Therefore, everything is reality or a real experience of reality. That's why Jesus said, according to your faith, let it be to you. According to your assumptions, let it be to you. As you have believed, as you have assumed, so be it done for you. That Jesus is very clear there, right? You get to create that experience. You are the awareness, the I am within which all experiences take place. All stories are told. What's real or true for you depends on your assumptions and belief. Unlimited experience of that limitless, changeless reality. That's the law of assumption. Who and what you assume to be true of yourself and in your world, in your reality. You determine that. You create there's no truth other than the absolute truth of awareness. There is no out there. So the debate about what's real and not real in the Bible makes no sense because it just depends on what you assume. You create the evidence and proof of your experience with your assumptions, right? Here's what Neville Goddard says. What we believe to be the real physical world is actually only an assumptive world. What appears to be solid reality is actually the result of expectations and assumptions. Very powerful. I've talked about that quote before. Yesterday's video on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel, huge. I'm still getting emails about it from some of you. And also I see a lot of comments on this on the membership channel, from the members. Oh my God, I'm engaged. Masterclass to manifest anything. It was a masterclass, not just manifesting an SP. It was a demonstration of how to do it. I'm not going to go into the details in this video because that's already posted yesterday. But I want to say how it relates to this idea of what's real and not real. She went from hopeless and extremely depressed in April 2023, our first session together, right? With no contact since her breakup with her SP in December. Multiple third parties, to a lunch date in September 23, right? 4 sessions later, after 9 months of no contact, to then a proposal and an engagement a few weeks later, right? I went over both of those emails in what she did, her process of how she created this in that video last night. How? By assuming the truth of her chosen reality no matter what. That's how she did it. She determined what her truth is. She didn't look to people, places, and things to tell her what's true, to tell her who she is. Right? Sometimes we look to these conditions and others, and even we put spiritual gurus on a pedestal. And when you do that, then you're allowing them to determine who you are. You get to determine that. Right? She did that. She denied the unreality. Hear this. This is big. Of anything that doesn't or didn't match her assumption of fulfillment, her new identity or her new story. That's why Neville Goddard said you can lay aside all other processes. When you match your story, your inner talking, your inner speech, what you believe to see and assume, to your assumption of wish fulfilled, you can lay aside all other processes. That's what she did. That's powerful. So she was not merely seeing the past and present conditions in the best light, right? It's not about seeing things as best you can through a, quote, a positive light. It's being aware of who you really are and seeing it through that greater reality, because that greater reality is the only reality. And when you see it through the greater reality with your assumption of fulfillment, you see your wish fulfilled. And the 3D world must rearrange itself around that state of being, around that assumption, around that conviction. She knew she was creating the past, present, and future conditions as that light and awareness. She wasn't merely seeing those conditions in the best light. She knew, she knows, she is the light. She's the one who gives those conditions reality. In this moment, there are no conditions without her, right? That there is not truth or facts outside of her assumptions and realities. That's what she went to. She moved to that idea that she's the awareness and there are no facts. There is no truth outside of her assumptions of reality. It goes beyond belief of what's real and not real. That's what I was trying to make in the last few videos. It goes beyond the 3D linear horizontal view of what to believe and doubt, right? Belief and doubt. Right? It goes beyond that. It goes to the assumption that there's only ultimate reality. What are facts or not facts? It goes beyond that. It's your assumption that's your reality, all of it. So hear it again. It goes beyond belief of what's real or not real. What are facts and not facts? It's your assumption that it's your reality, all of it, regardless of what anyone else, Neville or any other spiritual great, or even what I'm saying, says or believes. Your I amness is the one and only authority. Right? Like Jesus said, you would have no authority. You would have no power unless it's given from above, from you, right? The SP, the home, the new career, the independence that she's feeling, the new life. She even said it in her email. I never believed I could have this, but then now I know I can. But I decide again, and now I know I can. Right? Because in belief, your 3D personality is always going to be believing and doubting, trying to believe in doubt. She just went beyond that and assumed it based on that ultimate and only reality. Do you see it? She was here on having the horizontal experience, with a past of hot and cold breakups between her and her SP. That's the past frame. That's the present frame where she wanted to see it differently, wanted to imagine it differently. And here's the future frame, right? And remember, right here from the past to the present, there were third parties. There was no contact until there was, right? She was swinging between belief and disbelief here, right? I kept getting that enough. So when you're relying on belief, when you're looking out there at the conditions and letting them determine what you believe and what you assume, you're swinging between belief and disbelief. But then she transcended that. She went into the vertical. She even mentions that in her email. To the assumption of fulfillment. Made that her only reality. She transcended the need, hear this, to believe. She transcended the need to believe altogether by going to the assumption of what she wants no matter what. That's what makes assumption powerful. Assumption's a state of being. Assumption is based on the truth of who you are. Belief comes from looking out at the conditions. Hear the difference. Someone asked me, what's the difference between a belief and assumption? Well, beliefs are when you're looking out at the 3D conditions and trying to believe something different. You're believing in the conditions. You're believing in that past that seemed where you were breaking up, and you're trying to believe something different. So you swing between belief and doubt. Assumption, on the other hand, allows those appearances to be there and goes to the assumption that they are different. Do you see this? This is such a big video this morning. The assumptions, you go to the assumption that they are different. Not that, but what's the difference? Belief and disbelief, you just swing between belief and disbelief because you're trying to believe those conditions that are different when you don't believe they're different. You believe in those conditions. You believe in the solidity. You believe that what spiritual gurus are telling you, right? Instead of deciding what you want to believe for yourself, right? In that vertical, I am that I am. She transcended that. Right? She imagined, assumed the marriage, the career, being famous. The third parties disappeared. This is what she said in the most weird and miraculous way. Right? Disappeared lunch after 9 months of no contact. And then a month later, an engagement. Not only that, she reached out for lunch. She reached out from that vertical. Not from looking at conditions, not from swinging between belief and disbelief. Because if she reached out from here, it would have been a very different lunch date. Instead, she reached out from the vertical, from leaving the need to believe, transcending the need to believe altogether, and going to the assumption that the conditions are different. Not trying to believe that they're different, assuming that they are different. All possibilities exist, even the belief and disbelief. She decided her facts and assumptions. Right? She says here, I kept getting that anomalous burst of energy, and I know it is me moving realities. It is you, and that because you're getting that anomalous burst of energy because you're no longer swinging between belief and disbelief. You're no longer looking out at the people invented circumstances trying to believe that they're different than they are, that they look so solid to you. Instead, you're just going to the assumption that they are different. There's a greater reality behind them. There are no facts or reality outside of what you assume. It's law. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, for joining our TikTok channel at Be Something Wonderful. We just released 2 more videos on that channel today. We're also going to release them as shorts on the public channel, so be sure to see that. Also, for the members, we have a membership channel. We just released a massive video. Dropped that late last night on the membership channel. I'm already hearing from the members in emails. We're seeing the comments. Very powerful. Really how to master a master class in manifesting anything. So if you're a member, check it out. If you're not, check it out. There's a link below. Also tomorrow, we have our live stream, our 7th live stream, also to be broadcast on the membership channel. This is with me live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. right here in our studios in Las Vegas. I'm going to be answering your questions that you've been sending me to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom in the studios of Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. Until next time, we'll see you soon.